All right. Let's get started. Uh, so for oh yeah, let's start with the state of the session first. I'll make a few announcements at the end, which is not. So far we have covered view file setup, data setting, and data cleaning, etc., etc. And so today we're going to focus on descriptive statistics, basically. So let's start with putting the exit command first, and then execute all of the lines up until the section B. Right? Okay. Any problems with that, or all good? All right. So the first task you have to do for the descriptive statistics is getting descriptive statistics of independent variables, right? So far, we have covered the number of prior ethnic studies classes, and race, and parents' immigrant status, and race, and gender, school year, and Madison, um, etc., etc. Right. So let's put the exit command right below the tab sreg, comma m, and execute the lines. As you can see, the result is that the tab command is actually showed you the variables frequency table, right? Good. Comma m means it should include missing values, which is dot in stata, right? Dot means missing values in stata. Good. So 3 people did not answer this question. The number of prior ethnic studies classes, or said don't know. Good. Any questions? Nope. All right. So 60 people out of 92 respondents said none, 20 people said 1, and 9 people said 2 or more prior ethnic studies classes. Good. So comma m includes just missing values. So you want to include missing values to see how many people did not answer this question. Okay. And then let's move on to race. And this is the frequency table of the race variable. 64% of respondents answered white, and Asian is like 22%, other is 13%. Okay. So the tab command shows you the frequency table. Oh, could you see? This, right behind this chair?
Yeah.
It's recording the
the section. So sorry.
Good. Sorry. So yeah, the tab command shows you that this frequency table of this variable, and comma m means about including missing values if there is one. Okay. So apparently there is no missing values compared to srec variable that has 3 missing values, which is dot, right? Compared to that, there's no missing values, which means that everybody answered to the right race questions. Good. And then you can do that with parent immigrant status as well, US born, immigrant, foreigner. So basically, this is more of a more for mastery points. This is about detailed observation of the relationship among variables. For example, your core independent variable. Oh, sorry.
Do we need to look at the missing values if we require the question?
You might want to like you're gonna like force respondents to answer all of the questions.
Did we like recode something as missing values? We did that.
So if you do that, you don't have to recode anything to missing values, because for example, like if you include don't know answer choices, then you have to decide you're gonna treat them as if there are missing values or not.
Okay.
Right? If that's the case, most likely don't know is coded as missing values, and then you have to have a really strong reason not to. So basically, as long as if you have don't know options, you would have to have at least consider missing values. Basically.
Good. Any questions? Nope. All right. So your core independent variable is race variable, right? And then the dependent variable is the student's view on liberal protest movements. So race might be closely associated with parents' immigrant status, especially considering that the class was cross-listed with Asian American studies. So basically, the independent variables association, race's association with students' view on protest movements can be actually about parents' immigrant status. Right? Good. To see what's up with that, basically, you are looking at the association between race and parents' immigrant status as well. So it can be a powerful alternative explanation in explaining students' views on liberal protest movements. So that's why you want to look at the relationship between race and parents' immigrant status, so that there's not to see if there's there is a strong relationship or not. Let's look at the results and then I'll explain the motivation behind that in more detail. If you put the exit command right below that, which is so have race census, which is the original race variable before the recoding, right? If you remember, you recoded the race variable into 3 categories. Right? It was much more detailed than that, right? But it was recoding. 1 was white and 2 was African American. 4 was Asian, 5 I don't remember, but these are all collapsed to others, basically. If you revisit the code book, you will see what's up, right? It seems like all the foreigner parents fall into the category of Asians, right? Does it make sense? So basically, parental immigrant status foreigner is actually just Asians, right? You want to have a more detailed knowledge about the relationships among independent variables to see the relationship between race and students' views is that can be reduced to can actually be reduced to parental immigrant status, or you can be more confident about like race is actually related to students' views. Good. So in this case, parental immigrant status is effect in terms of like foreigners versus non-foreigners. The effect is actually can be reduced to Asian effect, right? By looking at this cross table, you can see that, you can infer that, right? Does it make sense? Or am I confusing you or a little bit? So in the parental immigrant status, all of the foreigner parents are Asians, right? So if you look at the relationship between parents' immigrant status and liberal protest movements, then this foreigner effect can be highly correlated with Asian effect. Does it make sense? Because all of the Asians are all of the respondents who have foreigner parents are Asians in the same way. Good. For the mastery points, you want to have these more detailed looks in the relationship between or among independent variables to really show like what are the alternative explanations in explaining the dependent variable, and then what is the relationship between independent variables. That is one of the big mastery points I'm looking at. Good. Any questions or? So yeah, you always want to see so the relationship between independent variables to have more confidence in your association. Actually, it's a really important point. Good.
So would that be in the conclusion, like saying that it seems like there might be a correlation, but like this is confounding? Like, is that what you're saying?
So yeah, so basically, parents' immigration status. When you're looking at the parents' immigration status and liberal protest movements, then you might say that, oh, foreigners effect might be an actual coming from the fact that parents immigrant status is a foreigner, but also all of the people that fall in this category are Asians, so it might be um, Asian effect, and then that warrants concern about interpreting this result or the relationship between the two variables. That's what I would say. Good. Any questions? Or- All right. So again, tab command race census and parent immigration gives you a cross table of race and parent immigration. So if you want to look at the relationship with the new, like a recoded variable, it's the same cross table, but it's with the recoded variable race. Okay, we can do that as well to have a more cleaner look in the table. And then the next line is actually about tab race, parent immigrant status, comma, row M, which means that you are creating row conditional percentages that you might remember from Project Mind, right? So conditioned on white, you are calculating the proportion of US born parents and immigrant parents. Good. As you can see, a lot of like Asians have foreigner parents, right? So if you look at the relationship between race and liberal protest movements, then the association with Asian and liberal protest movements can be really can actually be an effect of having foreigner parents. Good. Any questions? So I would this is a more more of an issue that comes later, but I would when you're looking at the relationship between race and liberal protest movements, then this is an issue, parent immigrant status. Then I would exclude these 12 people from the analysis and see what happens with these 9 people's view on liberal protest movement and how that differs compared to other races. Good. That way, parent immigrant status can be a little bit of a less concern, right? Good. And I'm not sure if this is a great way to go, but if you want to calculate the column percentage, column conditional percentages or probabilities, you can do that as well. As you can see, all of the foreigner parents. Good. So these three commands would not be news to me if you understood all of that above. So I'll skip that. Except that Madison new variable, which is actually about how does racial ethnic diversity in Madison compare to where you grew up? Madison is more diverse, less diversity, about the same, not comparable, please, not. So there are 4 people who said they're not really comparable, and then they are coded as misses. But for the other respondents, they said that Madison is more diverse, about same, and less diverse. Good. Maybe it's also because of the fact that they come from other countries, right? So basically, you want to see if, say, Madison having foreigner parents or being from foreign countries are associated with this view. Good. It seems like a lot of students from Asian countries, they're Asians, right? If you remember that. Asian countries said that Madison is more diverse than where they grew up, because there will most likely be like exclusively Asian where they grew up, right? So look at the detailed relationship among independent variables, and then see report what you see or what you suggest, what the data suggests in terms of in the relationship, in looking at the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables, and then what warrants concern, and then if try to figure out what is a better way to resolve that concern, to look at the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables. Good. Any questions? If you're interested in more advanced statistical technique, they learn this controlling variables with statistical method of linear regression to deal with this issue more directly with statistical techniques. But obviously, this class's range is not there, so we'll just try to figure out creative ways in which to deal with these possible concerns with the relationship between independent variables and the dependent variables. Okay. So yeah, so you want to try to look at the relationship among independent variables more directly or in more detail. Any questions with that? Good. All right. So and then the dependent variable, which is a scale, can be more described with it starts with describing all the frequencies of the items. So tab 1 PM _ asterisk is actually it gives you the frequency tables of all the variables that starts with PM underscore. If you remember that your item should start with certain prefix, right? And then asterisk means whatever or anything. So anything starts with PM underscore will be tabulated. Good. Any questions? Or good. So PM Black Lives Matter will appear like that. Like that. You can just look at the frequencies basically. And then also you can use the sum command, summary command, to look at the number of non-missing observations. So it seems like there is one person who didn't respond to this question, right? Pipeline question. Most likely because this person did not know much about pipeline. The pipeline, the case, right? And the mean is right there, and the minimum value is right there, and the maximum value is right there. Good. If you look at the distribution, it seems like the students are most supportive of diversity. Movements to promote campus diversity. Good. All right. Any questions? Good. So there is one missing value right here. So how to handle missing values is really right in creating a scale. The first task you need to do is to egen npm miss. So it creates the variable named npm miss and enters the values of this part. And this part is row miss PM asterisk. So it means actually that PM Black Lives Matter, PM, etc., etc. And then row miss is that 3, 2, 1, and there's one missing. There's one missing right there. Then it counts the number of missing values. Good. Let's see. Oops. There's one person who did not answer this pipeline question, right? So
for this person, the variable's value is 1 because this person did not answer one question, and the missing value has one missing value. And as you can see below, there's a person with the value of 9, which means that this person did not any of the questions because all of the number of items was 9. So this person did not answer any of the questions. As you can see right there. Good. Instead of looking at just the data table or data browser, you can simply tabulate NPM miss. So as you can see, 90 people answered all of the questions. One person did not answer one of the questions, and then there's one person who did not answer any of the questions. Good.
Did do that just for the dependent variable or for?
So I would so this is about like making a scale, right? And then yeah, so making a scale. So for independent variables, you can simply like get the frequency table of that variable that has the M option would give you the number of missing values, right?
Do you do anything?
When there's missing values in the independent variables. So there are a number of techniques, but from my suggestion is basically that as long as this person has missing values in any of the variables, I would drop them. Other options are complicated and requires a lot of advanced stat techniques. So yeah. Or there is for scale specifically, there is another option to take, which I'll explain in a minute. So obviously, we don't want to include the person who did not answer any of the items. So type drop if NPM miss equals 9, drops the person who did not answer any of the questions. So it's about dropping any observations if NPM miss is 9. You type that and execute the command, and you will see one observation deleted. And then you might see that there is no 9 anymore. It's gone. This observation is now gone. Right? Good. And then to figure out what item this person did not answer, you can type list PM asterisk if NPM misses 1. So there was one person who did not answer one of the questions, and then we're trying to figure out why, what question, right? Without just looking at data browser. It can be requires a little bit of eyeballing. So to avoid that, we're doing that. List all of the variables if NPM miss
just it restricts the command, the application of the command, to only those who have ones as the value of npm miss. Does it make sense? So there was only one person who has one as the value, right? So it'll only show that person's records about these variables. Good. And then pipeline is dot, which is missing. So for the scale, you don't really want to drop all of the variable, all of the observations, and then you want to save the observation as much as possible. So what Professor Oliver did is recode the PM pipeline variable from missing to 3. So it was missing, right? You're recoding the variable from missing to 3 if npm misses. So Professor Oliver assumed that not responding is equivalent to don't know, which was the 3 in the response categories. Good. It is not perfect, but it is doable. And it does not require a lot of advanced statistical techniques. Any questions? Nope. All right. The next task is creating a scale. Okay. So the first subtask of this creating a scale is to check possible negative items and reverse coding. So there were some like a reverse coding related items, right? But that's your intention. Right? So the actual results might be different. In terms of, so basically, there was a question of how do you support pro-immigrants? And then there was another question of how do you support anti-immigrants? You know what I mean? So there were like reverse coded questions, right? But that's what you meant when you designed the question. But you want to look at the actual like results to see if they actually are reversed in a way. So those who answered 5 will most likely answer 1 in this question, right? Does it make sense? You can do that with the correlation table first. So CORR correlation PM _ asterisk actually shows you the relationship among the items. So you guys remember correlation from project 1, right? So positive relationship is noted as the positive numbers right here. And negative relationship is noted as the negative numbers right here. Good. So it means that Black Lives Matter is negatively associated with pro-police. Good. So pro-police is a reversely coded question. You can see that, right? And then also, it also applies to anti-immigrant, white nationalist, and anti-affirmative action from the relationship. Yeah. The relationship between PM, Black Lives Matter, and pro-police is negative. So you can see that these questions should be reverse coded. Are you guys confused with that or good? Yeah. All right. So, and then here's another way to figure out. Actually, I would move that to the last part. Sorry about that. So, so we should reverse code the negative items, right? So, and then we should change the labels so I don't forget what the values mean after the reverse coding. I'll explain what that means. So, as you can see from the correlation table, there were some items that should be reversely coded, right? And then I am recoding all of these reverse items from 5 to 1, from 4 to 2, from 3 to 3, 2 to 4, 1 to 5. Good. And then you are defining a labeling system now. So the new labeling system. So label define protest reverse, or R, is now 1 is very favorable. Because anti-immigrants, for example, it was 1 was unfavorable, right? But it's now recoded as 5 to show the 5 means basically support for liberal protests, right? So it should be 5 is a little wrong, very unfavorable. The label should be also moved according to the recode. So so this person has very unfavorable view on anti-immigrant status, anti-immigrant view, which means that support for liberal protest movements. Does that make sense? So you are trying to line up the support for liberal protest movements by reverse coding, and then the labeling system should follow that reverse coding. Any questions? Am I confusing you, or does it make sense? Sort of. Yeah. So you're defining the labeling system and applying it to these variables. These variables that should be that are reverse coded. Any questions?
Is purchase R a variable?
Oh no, purchase R is the name of the labeling system.
Okay.
So you are applying that labeling system to these variables.
Okay.
Any questions? Any more questions?
So for the label, you put the labeling system at the end.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll then stop the SATA session right here.